All right, Grand Rising, greetings, good day, and welcome to you all. You are tuned in to the Peak Wellness Hour, and we are excited to usher in the new year with you with the conversation of building strong foundations. Okay, so we're going to be talking about built to last, the power of a strong foundation. So here's the thing in life, success is not about how fast you climb. It's about what you're standing on while you climb. Your foundation determines your resilience, your consistency, your peace, and your ability to bounce back when life gets hard. So, today we're going to be talking about what a strong personal foundation really looks like, how people can accidentally build weak ones, and the practical tools to strengthen your foundation for everyday life. So we hope you tune in for the full conversation. We want you to like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, share and bring in a friend. Grab a pen and paper because we're going to get started and it's going to get deep. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Who's excited to be in the year 2026? I am so excited. I think the whole Peak Wellness Hour team is super excited about a new beginning, which we have been honored and gifted and blessed to have. So, before we jump into this conversation, I want to share a little tidbit about the year 2026. Okay. Thank you, Chat GPT, for being quick and producing this information. So, 2026, we are in a mid-decade transition year. Okay. On a spiritual meaning kind of side, what we're looking at are a few things. We're looking at the interpretation of alignment and grounding. So this year is a call to stabilize foundations, which includes family, purpose, health, faith, finances. It's a transformation through reflection. So we're going to review lessons from the past several years, and then we're integrating wisdom in this year, 2026. It is a year of service and compassion, where we're going to be encouraging community connections, which is what we're doing here, right? Emotional healing and supportive relationships. So I think we talked about this last week or a week or so ago about healthy relationships and kind of pruning away things that don't serve the purpose of our lives anymore. And then inner maturity, moving from survival mode toward intentional living and soul driven decisions. Okay. Many spiritual traditions view mid decade periods as bridge years, moments to release what no longer serves you, strengthen spiritual discipline through meditation, gratitude practices, prayer, and realigning life with deeper values and calling. So, this is what we have to look forward to for this year if you choose to be on the path of elevation. And it's all about making healthy choices, it's all about making proper choices for your life. And we want to help you get there. So, we're going to let Queen Edith bring us in to do so. You know, we've got King Sean A. White here So excited to have this conversation with you all as always. We got Queen Kathy B with the United Empires of the Cubalon first in the digital building. And Happy New Year to you, Queen, and your family. Queen Edith.
Well, happy and a prosperous new year to you, friends and family. It's a great year to begin. Like our Queen G said, 2026 is the beginning of the second half of the decade. Okay, it's also the number six. On the sixth day, the human being was created. So, this is a great time to really come back and align. Wherever you have been, come back and align. So, Queen, that's a powerful introduction. And we're going to dig deep into this conversation. First of all, thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting your friends. Thank you for doing that for us because we know that you value what we bring and we definitely value your time. So, we have no intention of wasting yours, neither ours. Okay, thank you so much. Now, our topic is built to last, the power of solid foundations. We live life based on some principles, some values, some quotes we have written, and I'm bringing computer language there, and some assumed codes, coded language. Every choice, every decision, everything we do is based on some kind of a foundation. One thing I have learned about foundations is that they are not seen. Nobody looks at a beautiful tall building and asks the question, I wonder what the foundation looks like. So it goes so strongly to tell you that the things, the little things that make up the very foundation of your life, the core of your life, you do in secret, you do privately. Now, we're going to delve deeper into this conversation. If for any reason I have stirred something up in you, this is a good time to realign, to rewrite, to correct some of the foundations that are taking your life the other way, the way you really don't want it to take. What can you do to find out what your foundations are? And in what ways can you bring about the needed change? Tune in and let's go, Queen King Sean.
Great morning, everybody, and happy New Year, happy 2026. And what a great way just to start off with this year, the first Saturday, with a topic such as this, because building up something strong is definitely important. Anything in which that you're looking to try to accomplish in this year, primarily, you want to have a strong foundation for sure. And if we think back to even years past, it's a reason why New Year's resolutions don't work. And it's, scientifically proven. You can fact check it that more than 80% of those that do New Year's resolutions, it doesn't work because during the course from January up until about March, they don't have a strong foundation, right? The core beliefs is not set in because it's all a system. And so with that, obviously, if you don't have that, then of course by March or probably even sooner, you wind up failing. And so yeah, this is going to be a very deep conversation. I love this topic because I've been speaking about this whew, back in mid October, all the way up into about where we're currently at. So this is going to be amazing. I highly recommend for you to have a pen and piece of paper because I'm definitely taking notes when these ladies speak, but also to put your comments in because I'm just very curious to see what your belief is stemming around having a strong foundation and what that looks like. So I'm ready to go ahead and jump in wherever you ladies are.
All righty. You know what, really quick, before we dive in deep, I was thinking the other day about the story of the Three Little Pigs, okay? For some reason, I could not remember what that second darn pig used to build his house. I knew the straw, I knew the bricks. I'm like, what was the other one? Do y'all know? Do y'all remember the other one?
Oh, that's been so long.
I know. Yeah, the straw for the first one, the bricks for the third one. Does anybody in the virtual building know what the pig? Go ahead, Queen.
No,
I'm trying to remember the song too. I'm trying to remember it.
Isn't this why you all don't look it up, you all, in the comment section.
I think it was wood, wasn't it? It wasn't wood?
I thought that too.
It's the water.
So he built the house.
Sticks.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I was close.
You were.
Okay.
I don't know why I cannot remember. I don't know. This is like a tell story. But here's the thing. The children's stories that we hear, a lot of those have meanings, and some of them are not so pleasant, but they have meanings. And so when I looked it up, I'm like, let me remember the story about these pigs. So the story teaches lessons about hard work, perseverance, and the importance of building a strong foundation. Okay, so I just love that. But I don't think we think about that when we hear these stories as young children, right? So the story goes that the mother pig was older and there was a lack of food. She sent these three pigs out into the world to seek their fortunes. Okay, so yeah, each pig building their own house. Now, this is a whole nother story about finances and putting your resources together wisely. But anyways, so it says the first little pig was very lazy and built his house out of straw. So this was because you have to think about this now. Follow this story. So the mother's older. She raises these pigs. There's a lack of food. There's a lack of resources. Okay. Surely she's invested in her little piglets, right? But she sends them out to do better. But then you have this lazy one that builds the house out of straw because he thought it would be quick and easy, allowing for more time to play. Okay. Now, the second pig sees, and like you would think, wood's a bit stronger than straw, depending on how you learn to set that foundation, though. And it didn't withstand. And so now we have the third pig with the bricks. Okay. And the story goes that he had the strong, secure, housing, it was safe. He had the fireplace. And so the wolf comes down the chimney and he was proactive and had the fire going just in case the wolf decided to find another way to enter. The interesting part about that story with the wolf is that they were building the houses to protect themselves from the wolf. So the wolf was already out there. And these are the choices that we make when we're building foundations. The wolf is out there. So how are you building your foundation? How are you preparing? And sometimes quick is easy, but it's not correct. We have to learn how to be persevering and consistency. We've said it time and time again here. Consistency is always the key. Consistency and resilience is always the key to success. And sometimes taking those shortcuts will cost you more than you're willing to pay. So just keep that in mind when you're building the foundation. Remember, the foundation starts from the bottom up. I like nice big old windows and nice ceilings, but you can't build the windows before you build the foundation. You can't build the structure without having the ground foundation. So just keep that in mind as we go into this conversation, of course, 2026 and beyond. Queen, King?
Yeah, it sounds like, well, I'll let Professor
No,
Edith
go ahead. I'll go.
Okay. So
I'll go.
It's interesting as far as with that story of the three pigs. I was even thinking about to even tie that as well, and I believe Professor Edith will appreciate this with the parable of the talents, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What that does, if you really dive into that, it really speaks about patience and perseverance, just like you mentioned. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. We live so much in a microwave society. And I even think social media can be to blame a lot of times of just showing the shiny object, right? Just showing the finished product, which rightfully so, that's all about marketing. I'm not going to get into that. But I think that a lot of you run into the false illusion that by seeing that, because they've done their job in terms of marketing and branding, like, oh, wow, so I can have that too. You can. However, you have to have the patience and you have to be willing to, even when no one else believes in you, even when no one else sees it, you have that vision and saying, you know what, whatever it is that I'm looking to accomplish, I know that I'm going to implement certain steps. There's going to be a system at play. There's going to be some investment on my part. There's going to be some networking and collaborating on my part because I'm building that brick. I'm building that sound foundation. I'm building that rock. So that way, when the big bad wolf or life hits, right? Because it happens to all of us, now you have something to stand on versus being shifted to the left, being shifted to the right, and being all over the place. So
Yes.
I love that because it really teaches on that. And what I found out with that is that when you're doing the work, there are individuals that they just want everybody on social media to see exactly what they're doing every single step. But what I have noticed, and I even tested this theory, is that when I'm in my office space and I just distance myself from social media and I'm working on a project, man, I become so productive. But also, what I'm doing is that I'm building those bricks one layer at a time, one layer at a time. That's why it's not ideal to compare yourself to a Professor Edith or to a Queen G, right? Because they are at a certain, they are at their levels, obviously for a reason, and rightfully so. But also too, they understood that in the dark, when no one else was watching, right? That's where they was putting in the work. That's where they was studying. They was reading the books. They was learning the materials. They were trying different things to see if it works, right? What doesn't work? To get that feedback, to get that data, because it all ties into building a strong foundation, something that will last through the end of time. Another term you might have heard or might be most familiar with is legacy. Legacy, legacy, legacy. So I just want just to put that out there and just see on what your thoughts are about that, ladies and gents. And get Professor Edith.
Hey, let me share something I know about foundations. When you speak about foundations, you're also speaking about roots. And one thing I've learned about watching houses built from the ground up, foundations are, what do you call it? Deep in investments. They dig deep into your pockets, so to speak, when building a house. Okay. I've watched houses built since I was a child. Okay. Because we in Ghana when I was growing up, we weren't buying houses, we were building houses. Okay. You realize that a lot of money goes deep into the ground. A lot of investments goes deep into the ground. Okay. When you plant, Queen Kathy B is here. When you're planting something, especially using the seed and not the seedling, seedling is a little shoot of the plant. Seed is the actual seed that looks like nothing and you can take it and throw it away. It's very little. Okay. In order to know what foundation to put to the ground, you must have a seed in mind. What tree am I trying to grow? What kind of building am I trying to put up? Okay, what fruit am I looking for? All right. Those are very important factors to consider when you are looking at the kind of building or the kind of tree you are planting. Let me say something else. If you're planting a seed, because my mother planted almost everything she ate, you dig the ground. Many of them you dig a little deep, right? You fertilize the soil around that area and you put the seed in, and you take the soil that you dug and cover up the seed. Okay, now the foundation area is dark. It's dark. It's surrounded by darkness. The sunlight may push some sun into it, but know that it's dark. Okay. And so sometimes, like the king said, we are looking for instant gratification. Sometimes in the beginning, we want everybody to see it. But the things that will last, the people who will last, our topic is built to last, the power of the foundation. The thing that will last has taken the time to water, to invest when nobody is seeing it. In the middle of the night when you're crying, I've come to learn that running around and telling everybody your problem never gives you a solution. It may give you a minute of relief, but sometimes when you sit back, it becomes even worse because you've talked so much, everybody knows your situation now. It goes in the dark. That's where the real work starts. When you look at yourself as a human being, go ask your mama. You were in the dark. It took 9 months in the dark. It took 9 months in the dark to be formed. But look at how many years it takes for the human being to mature. It took only 9 months. There is a reason that a baby comes, doesn't know how to eat, doesn't know how to drink, doesn't know how to talk. Sometimes at birth, they don't see, they hear, but they don't understand. It takes time. Everything that will last takes time. The search for quick gratification, it means that it's going to come quick crashing. When you are in a hurry to take shortcuts, when the foundation, that is why our New Year resolutions don't start. We just get up and say, this don't last, because we just get up and say, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to spend a little more time in reading. New Year's resolution must be built on what you started last year. So what steps were you taking towards this year? Otherwise, every day you are beginning. Okay, the beginning is good. I love beginnings, but some beginnings are building on something. If we rush without a solid foundation, you will come crashing down. There's a story in the Bible that says one man built his house on a rock, another built it on the sand. The same wind came. Wind represents the storms of life. The things that hit you along the way that you didn't plan for, you didn't budget for. It will either bring you crashing down, or it will bring you to a place of resilience. It all depends on what your foundation is. And sometimes the foundation tells you, how weak or how strong your foundation is by the things you tell yourself when life hits. Oh, I know, I won't amount to anything. That is what you believe. That's your foundation right there. And it's true. Eleanor Roosevelt said something. The future belongs to the power of those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But you are saying in your head, in your mind, in your heart, I will not amount to anything. And you keep saying it. It's not a joke. It's not to please the people. It's sabotaging self.
It is.
So, how do you build a solid foundation, Queen?
That was powerful.
Yeah, it was. It's so hard to go behind Queen Edith.
I'm telling you.
I want to tell you all, I'm gonna answer that question too about the foundation really quickly. My son, my youngest son, he loves plants, and I have been so impressed with he's 20. He's 20 years old. I've been so impressed with watching him cultivate these plants, tend to these plants. He's out there pruning and doing all kinds of stuff, and he's just really involved. So my husband and I wanted to get him something. We wanted to get him plants for Christmas. I spent a lot of money. We spent a whole lot of money on bonsai trees. Okay. Now my son asked for a Venus flytrap. Now I read off some things from ChatGPT. I could have looked up if Venus flytraps really have to have flies because I don't do bugs in my house. So it was just automatic no, no to the Venus flytrap. But I saw these really beautiful, exotic, tiny bonsai trees, and they came in all kinds of different colors, right? They had blue, purple, they had a red one. It was all kinds of different colors. But the thing was, he has the seeds and he has to plant them. And they're tiny trees. If you've never seen a bonsai tree, you got to look it up. But they take years to grow. And you just kind of prune them. It's just kind of a project that you do. You got to kind of like plants to be doing it. So my husband gets some of the seeds with the colorful ones. Who knows how long that's going to take? So he said, well, let's get him some that are already living. So we got 6 of them. And they came from all over. Some of them, there was one that was stuck in customs for some reason. So we get them. One of them looks like it's dead. I've got one that looks like it's trying to die. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do with these plants? I was like, Caleb, how are you going to fix this? How are you going to fix this? How are you know what to do with these plants? How are you going to fix it? He looks at me, he says, Mom, he said, you got outdoor bonsai trees. I'm like, well, what is that supposed to mean? I said, can you put them outdoors right now while it's cold? Are they going to be okay? He said, Mom, he said, these trees originate from Japan. The climate is totally different than what it is here. When you are trying to plant something outside of its environment that it's intended to be in, it makes it quite difficult to maintain and sustain the life of that thing. It does not mean that it is impossible. It just takes a lot more work if you are not in the correct, conducive environment for that growth to happen. Does that make sense?
1,000%. 1,000%. It sounds like when a person is not in alignment on what they're supposed to be doing, what happens is that, and I'm a witness to this as well, you're doing other things, right? But you're not doing them what you're naturally gifted at or talented at. What happens, the level of frustration comes into play and disappointment, and even at times questioning yourself, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Entrepreneurs know this clearly because we have a certain mantra as being an entrepreneur, and I believe is push, persist until something happens. And when you come back around and you understand your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing, just like you mentioned, now you're in that space and where you're supposed to be. You're in that community, that environment of men and women that think like you, that has ideas like you, that has passions like you. And so now the gifts and talents of, your purpose of your skill set of what you're supposed to be doing, now it starts to take root and you start to see the results, much more quicker than as opposed if you were still doing something else. It's no wonder why when for myself, when I realized, like, you know what, instead of me doing X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Reaching out to the people, coming with a heart of service, right? How can I help you? And then aligning myself with men and women that's on that same trajectory, and they already have systems or different things in place, such as the peak wellness hour, now truly working that gift. And so that seed that you mentioned that was so small, now it begins to go ahead and start to grow and grow and grow exponentially, as opposed if I was out there in the desert, so to speak, it's not getting any kind of water. It's getting a bunch of sunshine, that's for certain, but it's not
Mhm.
getting no water, so it just becomes stagnant. Nothing happens. So that's a great point, though. That's a great point.
Mhm. But and look, with the desert, look at where there is plant life in deserts, but it's just conducive to the climate. It's conducive to the season. It's conducive to the changes. You got to be where you're supposed to be. You got to be in position. I know it talks about how foundation is not just about values or mindsets.
Queen, may
Go
I
ahead.
talk a little bit about the environment
Please.
before we move
Yeah,
on to the
Yeah,
next?
come on.
please.
Come with it.
I'm going to take you to I'm going to give you a different perspective on the environment, okay?
Mhm.
We are all born into preconditioned environments. All of us. The home, the mother that birthed you, what you were in the stomach, it was an environment of your mother's lifestyle. Everything your mother did in pregnancy impacted you. The family around you growing up, when you learn to talk, your environment impacted your accent, the color of your skin. Because if your mother is dark and your father is dark, you can't come back green. Your environment shapes you. That's one environment we must be very cognizant about. Why do I say that? The foods you eat is because of the environment you grew up in. Okay? If you move right now to Africa and you eat chicken, you realize that it tastes differently from the chicken in America. They are all chicken. Your environment shapes your taste buds. Your environment sometimes and many times determines your thought processes, how you think about certain situations. Okay. And yet, every one of us is born uniquely. We are different. And it comes to a time that you need to determine, I love my background. I love where I come from, but I see I am different. You begin to shape your foundations by the schools you attend, they impact you. The teachers who teach you, the friends you associate with, they all shape you growing up. Let me say, they shape you growing up, or you shape your life around them growing up. I say that foundations are the codes, CODES, we have built. We have developed coded language that's put in the computer. The moment somebody says something, the coding we have um, processes it, brings it to our mind, and we think of it in a certain way. Okay, and that determines our behavior or our choices and our behaviors. Okay, so environment, we are born in an environment that determines our foundation. However, you owe it to yourself to research. In other words, to read. Because the books you read, the people you listen to, the voices, they all go into all these coded languages. So this is what I will say to you, that we are talking about environment, right? You have to figure out who you are and where you are going to. And know that if I associate myself with this group of people, I'll probably not get to where I need to go. So what do? I may not be able to reach these people who are indirectly my mentors, but I can read their books. I can listen to their podcasts. So environment, we are shaped a lot by the environment we were born in. However, we have the ability to change. I've heard so many people, I don't want to, some of these stars tell you their background and where they grew up, they grew from, and how the fights they have to fight to come out of that place. And when, by the grace of God, they're able to make it, some of them go back to see how best they can fix the area. You can build all the greatest buildings there, make it look nice. The mindset of the people, the foundation remains the same, so it runs down. They run it down. So it's not the environment. It's the people who have been shaped in that area. So it doesn't matter what you do there. If we don't go there to educate, to impact, to talk to do whatever it takes to change mindsets, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You can't, you will make it. That's why we crash. We don't crash because we are financially poor. We don't crash because we something wrong happened. We crash because our foundation is wrong. I saw a video of a man, Queen, now I'm done, who I think is a very popular man. I don't remember his name. And he went away somewhere with just $100. He said, if I lose all my money, everything I have, just give me $100. I can rebuild everything again. I can rebuild it. And he did within a certain period of time. Right? So he has a foundation. He has the principles. We'll talk about core beliefs. He has the values. He knows his core beliefs and he works with it. So why are we crashing? Why aren't we making it? Check your foundation. What is in your foundation? What codes are you living by? What principles shape your day?
I love it. King, I'm not keep going behind her.
You know what? There was a lot that was said with that, your cores and your beliefs. And I want to touch on that. I think it's time to definitely touch on that because it is a very true statement. Whatever you think about yourself and whatever you put the most emotion to, that's what's going to come out. And that's just a universal principle. That is so true. Golly, it's so true. And for this year, you have to be willing in terms of having that foundation. One of it, you definitely have to be willing to invest into yourself. Like, because I want you to think about this, right? If you really think about for the past year, what you spent the most attention on, right? What were the things that you were watching on TV to entertain yourself? What type of music were you mostly listening to?
Mm.
And if you really think about that, you pretty much would get your answers because what you're putting in is coming out. What does that mean? That means this very simply, in order to create those strong foundations within yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, what are you putting in? Because your core beliefs and what you hold on to the strongest and what you believe in the most is going to come out. In other words, if you believe that in your heart of hearts, that man, you know what, I want to be a millionaire, but I remember when I tried this project about 2 or 3 years ago, and the amount of money that I put in and the deal went south, and it was a very hurtful experience. That is already deep embedded inside not only your subconscious mind, but it's also in your body and your spirit. And so if you don't make a decision to change that core belief, then in 2026 is going to go ahead and take root once again. And why I say that is because subconsciously it pretty much runs our day in and day out lives because we are very habitual. So how you break that? You have to invest into yourself. You have to be able to listen to the things that's going to fuel you, not only mentally, emotionally, but spiritually as well. Take a look at as far as on what type of content are you subjecting yourself to, right? Is it helping you as far as to grow as a person, as an individual, as a parent, as a spouse, sibling, entrepreneur, or is it taken away? Do you find yourself still doing the same routines that you was doing in 25 and 24 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Because you all have heard of this. The definition of insanity is what?
Doing the
Doing the
same
same thing
over and over
over
again.
and over and over again, and yet expecting a different result. So with that, can we now, I'm gonna put it to you another way. Give yourself grace in saying that you are worth of the change of
Mhm,
whatever it is that you're looking to visualize and you're willing to manifest this year.
mhm,
Telling yourself that you are worth it, that you are worthy, and really not just speaking it, but really believing that and putting that strong conviction behind it. Because when you are building the brick, that core belief of I am worthy, I am smart, I can do this, I have the skill set and the time to accomplish X, Y, and Z. I want my finances to look this way, and it will because. And when you start stacking those, and you do it on a day in and day out basis and let that pretty much dominate your mind on a daily basis by having that awareness, s- the results come very, very subtle, if you will. It's not going to come super fast, but you are developing that core belief. And that core belief, just like with working out, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger the more that you repeat it, the more that you expose yourself to individuals that think the same way as you and that are actually doing the work. That's why personal development, in my opinion, it is something that if you are serious, you will continue to be involved in personal development all the way up to the very end till it's time for you to leave this earth because it's so powerful because that belief that you're strengthening, right? That ideology of knowing of who you are and knowing your purpose and willing to be patient and attack it relentlessly and fervently because again it goes to that belief right within yourself but by you doing these things day in and day out being attentive finding out on what you're subjecting yourself to what are you watching what are you listening to when you start to
mhm,
shift that and you start to pour into the things in which that you want to be good at or great at universal law it has to formulate it has to come out why because of the fact your subconscious mind right has already adopted that idea and said you know what because Professor Edith she's constantly doing this she's constantly doing that she's constantly doing this she's constantly doing that every single time I try to put up a limited belief she bypasses it so I guess you know what since she believes in it so strongly I guess it's true I guess we're doing this thing. And then what happens, that take root. But remember, because she went back and she understood the principle of the core foundation and put that in place and was very aware and attentive and intentional on doing that is the reason why she has gotten the results. So this is not rocket science. right? It's something that's very basic in any, and I don't care what books that you basically read. You can read from the Bible to the Torah to the Quran, whatever, right? They all basically say the same thing. It's universal principle at work, but you gotta believe it and you got to apply it. That's the key. It's one thing of knowing it. It's one thing of knowing it, right? We can absorb all the content, we can read all the books and everything, but if there's no action applied to it, and the firm belief that no matter what, don't care what my neighbors say, don't care as far as what my family say, don't care as far as on what my boss say, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, because you have it imprinted from your conscious mind and it's on a regular basis, that eventually it's going to take root into your subconscious mind. And again, the subconscious mind does not know what is real or what is fake because our brains are all designed and wired to keep us safe. So if you want to push through, start the process. Find out who are you as a person? What are your core values? What are your beliefs that are so strong that no matter what anybody says, you will not compromise them for anyone? When you do that on a daily basis and you get laser focused and intentional, believe me, the results is going to show up. Why? Because just like I mentioned, it has to. It's a universal law and a principle.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pass it back over to you because I can go all day and talk about this. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I love it. No, I love it. I mean, you're so right. I think when it comes to daily choices, like you just said, it's where it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not like you're going to have this big aha moment and you're just going to say, you know what, let me just change my life and fix my life right now. And it's all said and done. It is a daily process. So you have to ask yourself daily, you know, what am I going to say yes to? What am I going to say no to? And we talked about this last week. You know, what do you say yes to and say no to? What do you allow yourself to feel? What will you protect and what will you prioritize? That is so important when we're running around here without guidance and structure and we're just lottie-dying it. There's a lack of goals and ambition and expectation. There's a lack of self-expectation. And we just kind of ride with the wind. So it is a daily process. It's daily watering. It's daily investing, like Queen Edith said. That investment is huge. You know, the cement, alone. You think about the infrastructure, of a house. The cement is expensive, and it's very costly if you try to build your house and you're standing in the very cement that's supposed to be your foundation, and now it's dried up because you didn't have the wherewithal to take a step outside. So don't get stuck in the cement. Don't get stuck in what you're trying to build, and you're not able to continue finishing that structure, if that makes any sense. I can't be stuck in the middle of a cement, block, and I've got all this extra, house I got to build, but I can't move now because I'm stuck. Don't get stuck in what, like Queen Eve said, in what your foundation was, what your past was. Don't get stuck and you can't build because you're stuck in the place you put yourself in. So I'm gonna land there. That's all I got.
All right, all right, all right. Let's get to the core. Hey, I love what we say core beliefs, okay? And one of the words I've been researching a lot, the word core, okay? Core means central, the center. Core is essential. Your core beliefs are non-negotiables. Your non-negotiables, the ones that you will not compromise no matter what. You know what? I love the gym, but when you look at me, you can't believe it, right? I've worked with a lot of personal trainers in my past. Don't laugh. Okay. And one of the greatest things they learned is Edith. you need to strengthen your core. Let me say it again. They say, Edith, you need to strengthen your core. Your core is the stomach area where fat builds a whole lot. Okay. And let me tell you something. When you look at your stomach area, your core, it is the one that determines how strong your back will or will not be. If your core is weak, you ultimately be bending, or it's not strong, you ultimately be bending over. You're putting a strain on your backbone, the skeleton on your back. Listen, your whole body hangs on that skeleton. Your whole body hangs on it. So if you want it to be effective, I'm putting optimum and effective together, okay? If you want it to function as its optimum, what you do is you strengthen your core. So when you talk about core beliefs, it's that belief system, it's that principle, it's that value that you stand on strongly, that no matter who comes into your life, you are able to say, no, I am not going that way. I am not letting this go. This is the foundation. This is what I know. This is what I believe in, and it has worked for me. Do you have some? So when you talk about core beliefs, what are your core beliefs? And are they hurting you? When we talk about foundation, building right foundations, it is important to know that there comes a season when you have to unlearn. Let me say it again. When you have to unlearn some of the things you've learned in the past that are not serving you. And it doesn't take a day, it takes intentionality of every day doing a certain work. Queen G originally said consistency. It doesn't take a day. Next time, I don't know if we have time, I'll go into the neuroplast. I love neuropsychotherapy so well. You have to unlearn and learn, and we are able to do it. We have what it takes to do it. The problem is we have become so close-minded. We are not growing mentally. We are not growing mentally. And so it is important. One of the ways you can begin to build a solid foundation is to find out, number one, where am I going? You see, the tallest tree has the deepest root. Some trees you can never uproot, you just have to cut down because they are that deep. It takes the deep work. We live in an era where we've become surface. We live on the surface. We can't do that. Marriages, husbands and wives are not talking about the truth. They are not talking about the deep things, the difficult conversations. We are afraid to have those. It shows you don't have depth. We are so immature. Everything is personal and we react so strongly. Happy New Year, Bishop. We react so strongly, but we don't have the ability, the wherewithal to listen and learn and grow and accept effective or proper criticism. We can't. We don't have the wherewithal. We are shallow, and the shallowness is not helping us. The tallest tree, the question is, how tall do you want to be? The tallest trees are seen from a distance. How far do you want to go? What are your goals? What are your plans? What are you hoping to achieve? And how much of the secret place work? The Bible uses midnight a lot. Midnight is the darkest part of the day, the darkest part of your life. Sometimes darkness doesn't mean evil, it just means the quiet, secret, private. What are you doing privately? Because eventually they show up when you step out. You're watching TV all day, it shows up. You are not reading, it shows up. Even if you're watching TV, you're watching intelligent conversations, it will help you. What are you doing secretly? It shows out. Life is lived in the secret place. Everybody sees a doctor emerge, right? Oh, she's a psychologist. He's one of the best surgeons in the world. Nobody talks about how much school he went. Nobody talks about the money he had to invest. Nobody talks about the sleepless nights. A mother's child is doing well. Nobody sees in the middle of the night when she's on her knees praying for her children, teaching them, guiding them. Nobody sees that. So the question is this: we like the light so much, and if you like the light, you must love the dark. When you read the book of Genesis, I am sorry, I'm not apologizing, but I am coming from the Bible. When you read Genesis, the creation, it says it was night first and then day. It was night first and then day. We emerge out of darkness into light. We say, hey, he came from nowhere. She came from nowhere. When did she get here? No, she came from somewhere. Talk to him, talk to her. What they were doing when nobody was watching. So if things are, you see, the reason why, once again, every plan you plan, it's not working, is because you don't have the strength to keep fighting. The storms of life will come. Unplanned, unbudgeted, uninvited, unwelcome, they are showing up. How solid and resilient are you? What have you built? What wall have you built that you can decide to let loose, open the gate, break it down, or you can decide to make it taller? It's in your foundation. This is one of the most important conversations you will have this year, probably in your life. What is in my foundation? What are my core beliefs? On what is holding me up? When you get to all the money you want and all, what is holding you up? Your core foundations, your core beliefs, core principles, they are the structure that hold your business up, hold your marriage up, hold your finances up, hold your ministry up, hold your career up. Otherwise, anytime somebody brings something, there are people who can walk in the office space and talk about your boss, your director, whoever, and talk so bad about them, and then you follow them, and you follow everybody. You have no principle, you have no backbone. Means you don't have core values. You have nothing to live by. So core beliefs is the structure. It holds the structure that keep you going, depending on how far you want to reach, how wide you want to reach, how tall you want to get. Your core beliefs must be solid. Done.
I dropped the mic on that,
I
man.
know.
I ain't got nothing to add on that. That was it right there. That was it right there.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Seriously.
Oh my
That was it.
gosh.
That was it.
I
That was
love it.
it.
I'm not saying anything else. I'll tell you what
Yeah.
we will do.
I
This
ain't
is
got
what we're
nothing
gonna
for you.
do.
That's it.
I know. Oh man, I'm not even gonna ruin that with saying anything. We're gonna say.
And Queen, do you know what? The
Mhm.
tallest trees, like when we're children, we would have you seen a coconut tree before? We'll climb it. The fruits are so high.
Yes,
When you
indeed.
have tall foundations and you build, it may be slow. You see, we can't rush life. We can't rush. My father always says everything worth having comes at a price. And those trees that grow tall, before you get a fruit from it, you literally have to climb it. And there's a potential that you will fall down. It won't break, but you will fall. So people can't reach there to pull you down easily. It's not because you are that tall, but it's because you are so solid. You are not easily bent. In order for me to get for you to get me to bend over toward you, you must have something I must see in you that I can tell you're willing to be pulled up with me. But you're not coming to waste my time. You're not going to come to waste my money. You're not coming to waste everything around me because you want to go around in circles. Hey, Val, you're going to go around in circles. No. People there who have built and worked so hard, they know you can. They know you're playing games and giving excuses. So it's never late to start. You can't rush. It takes patience. Don't rush to tell the people. These days I'm here. Don't tell people your secrets. Don't tell people your plans. True. You want the validation before you've even done the work. If you want to talk about it, find the accountability part and let them hold you accountable. This instant gratification business. I keep saying that my father was a photographer. Those times, before colored pictures came, black and white pictures were. We take the pictures. He had a camera. He will go buy a film, put it in the camera. And, I don't want to go into the focusing and all that. I don't want to go into that now. But the pictures were developed in the dark, let me say it again, in a dark room, dark environment. I remember one day I didn't know, I opened it. They said, hey, I need to close the door quickly. Dark room. When you are exposed to light too quickly, you destroy what you are building. Sharp. I've seen negatives. When you see those negatives, you remember the negative that come out of the film. It's black and white. The people look like some kind of cotton, shady, not smooth thing. It's black and white. And when you see a light flash through it, that picture is destroyed. It doesn't come out right. And the negative, when you look, that they are called negatives. Positives come out of negative. What we say, sometimes we think darkness is evil. Girl, dark is great. Darkness, evil. When you work in the dark, people see you emerging into the light and they don't know how you got there. So we can't rush it. You have to take the time to be developed in the quiet, in the dark, in the secret place.
You on mute, King. Oh, hold on. There you go. Like, that's all, folks.
That's it.
Speaking of Three Little Pigs, now I feel like Porky Pig. That's all, folks.
That's good.
Oh,
Man.
what a powerful word. What a powerful message. I tell you what, because I feel like we're going to keep talking. I don't know if we need to do a part 2, but I tell you what we're going to do.
Part 2.
Yeah.
We should.
We want to hear what you all have to say in the comments. We're about out of here. And I'm just hanging on to every word that Queen Eve says. Same with you, King Sean. Just been such a powerful message today. So we're going to do a quick ad for just a second. We're going to let you, just 45 seconds. We're going to let you put your comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, if you have any insight, go ahead and do that before we get out. We want you to have a voice. We want you to feel a part of this conversation because you are so welcome in this space. So 45 seconds, we're going to take a quick break. And of course, we're going to let Queen Edith get us out of here. And I'll try not to be in awe when she does. So drop some comments in the comment section. We thank everyone that's been here, whether from the beginning or you dropped in. Thank you for liking and sharing. Let's hear from you real quick. We'll be right back.
Are you caring for an aging loved one and feeling overwhelmed? Let Peak Home Care Associates give you the break you deserve. Our respite care services provide compassionate, professional support right in your loved one's home, so you can recharge with peace of mind. Whether it's a few hours, a weekend, or longer, our trusted caregivers are here to help. From medication reminders and meal prep to companionship and personal care, we treat your family like our own. Take care of yourself while we care for them. Call Peak Home Care Associates today at 317-863-0832 or visit peakhomecareassociates.com, because everyone deserves a helping hand. Peak Home Care Associates, care you can count on, relief you can feel.
All right, so there you go. We want to start incorporating some different ads, especially with our team, but that Peak Home Care Associates, talk about foundation there. Talk about this queen building a foundation for our seniors. We got, like I said, we have Queen Kathy B, Queen Tina Berry in the house, building foundations. We have all kinds of people in the digital building foundations that are built to last. So we are so excited about that. But if you are in the Noblesville, in the Indiana area, and you're needing support for your senior loved ones, definitely get with Queen Edith. She is amazing in meeting the needs of those in need. She does it so graciously. And like she said, you have no idea what she does behind the scenes. I have got to figure out how she has so many hours in her day because I need half of them. I mean, she's got me on double time. So you're definitely an inspiration with that. Thank you for being your tireless work. You've got the church ministry. She just graduated from school. With her, is it master's?
Yes, masters.
Okay. So a lot of things behind the scenes. Shawnee White is doing great things. He's got an event tomorrow. You've got to make sure you all go to Shawnee White's Facebook and YouTube page. He's got an event tomorrow. So we want to stay connected. These are the foundations that we are building that are sustainable. Okay. And we want to sustain with you. We want to grow with you. It is so important that we move in a more positive direction and that we are not fearful in doing it. Okay. You only get one life this time round. What does it look like? What are you gonna make of it? So I'm not gonna keep talking because I'm gonna let King Sean say his last, and I'm not gonna say anything else after Queen Nita talks. I promise y'all. I'm just gonna look and just be like, oh. So
You know what? I'm pretty much I'm good over here. I mean, this has been very, very powerful, and I will say definitely stay tuned for part two because I definitely want us to dive in more about this because this is very, very important because it's going to set the tone on how your 2026 is going to look. So I'm glad that we really took our time and we really dived into this because this is of extreme importance because if you don't have that solid foundation, just like we mentioned, set, it doesn't matter on what you're going to do from here on out. It's not going to be the way that it's supposed to be as far as in your life, in your business, your community, etc. So I definitely want us to next week as well do part two and really dive in and really do the work because this is what it's all about here.
absolutely. Queen.
Friends and family, our topic is built to last. The power of a strong foundation. I don't know where you are in life. I don't know how many times you've fallen and felt like it's over. It just means you have to reevaluate.
Mhm.
You have to dig deeper into your thought processes. What is influencing all these crashes? What is influencing you being stuck? What is it? It's in what you're believing in, it's in what values you have surrounded yourself with. Please, if you want to go far, if you want to go high, if you want to accomplish something, so many people whose name we continue to speak these days, and they've been gone tens of years long, hundreds of years. It goes to show you they lasted. Even in death, we still talk about them. I think it was Henry Ford who said this: whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you were right. It is in your foundation. Go back, beginning of the year, reevaluate. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing in my secret place? What are those habits, those little things I do that nobody sees? Are they building me up? Are they preparing me for where I'm going? Am I prepared for what I have set before me to the end of the year? Reevaluate and learn and begin to learn. Take the time, learn, learn around where you're going. Find the people who have gone there. You may never be able to talk to them, but so many people have so many podcasts these days. Get books to read. And on this note, I say, join our book club. Join our book club. The same books I've been reading. When I'm cleaning, I have them on Audible, listening. All of us have Bluetooth, we have Bluetooth speakers. Use your time efficiency. You can listen and clean. You may not hear everything, but some things will hit you. Okay. So this month, my church, we're doing 31 days of wisdom, okay, where we are reading the book of Proverbs. There's so much wisdom in that book. It's 31 chapters, each day one proverb. And so I've been putting a few things on my page. I'm going to share it on my personal wall as well. Read something, learn something, structure your life on something. So even when you crash, even if you crash, you can get up and rebuild. We thank you so much. We definitely wish you an amazing year, full of accomplishments you never thought you could. And for that reason, know that this peak wellness hour will never take your Saturday morning for granted. Will bring you wealth of information and knowledge that will catapult you, if you take advantage of it, into your tomorrow. Have an amazing year. We love and appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.